Okay, so now we're going to be doing what we were doing before. So in a moment when we tackle example 5, 6, and 7, you'll be learning not only how to classify a polynomial based on its degree and number of terms, you're also going to be learning about something called standard form of a polynomial, which is pretty neat, and then also the leading coefficient. So let's talk about what these things are. So a leading coefficient, this is the coefficient of the term that contains the highest degree. Okay, so once you identify which term has the highest exponent, the number that is in front of that variable is your leading coefficient. Okay, so coefficients are the numbers that are in front of a variable. Okay, so the coefficient in front of the variable with the highest exponent is your leading coefficient. Now, leading coefficients are easier to find when your polynomial is in standard form. So standard form of a polynomial, that is when a polynomial starts with the term that contains the highest degree, and then the next highest degree, and then the next highest degree, and then you basically start with the highest exponent, and then you go all the way down until you get to the lowest exponent. So the degree descends in numerical order. Okay, so if you see here, like this polynomial starts with the highest exponent, and then the next term contains the next highest exponent, and then you keep going down until you get until your lowest exponent. Okay, so when you line up the terms in order from highest degree to lowest degree, your polynomial is in standard form. So like this one, it's a degree 4 polynomial because, well, when it's in standard form, the highest exponent is at the front. So it's really easy to find. So this is degree 4. And also when you're in standard form, the leading coefficient is in front. It's the leading coefficient, the number that's in front of all the rest of the terms. So when you're in standard form, the leading coefficient is whatever number is in front of the variable at the very front. So what number is in the front? Well, in this one, 4 is in the very front of your polynomial. So the leading coefficient is a 4. So if you line up your polynomial in standard form, it's really easy to find things like the degree and also your leading coefficient. So that's why standard form is helpful. Okay, so I know this is technically labeled as 1, 2, and 3, but these are examples 5, 6, and 7. So let's get going. So we're going to write the polynomials in standard form, and then we're also going to classify them by their number of terms, degree, and we're also going to state the leading coefficient. So let's get going. Okay, so this is example 5. So on example 5, standard form. So we're going to start with the term that has the highest exponent, which looking at all these, my highest exponent, and again, when you guys are doing this, you're looking at the exponents on the variable, not the coefficient, so watch yourself. Okay, so my highest exponent is a 4. So the first term I'm going to list is 3x to the 4th. My next term with the next highest exponent is the 5x to the 3rd. Okay, so since that, we have x to the 4th, then x to the 3rd. So this is the term I would list next. And then my term with the next highest exponent is 2x squared. So I would have 3x to the 4th plus 5x to the 3rd plus 2x squared. And then my last term that does not contain an x. So remember, if you don't have an x, technically there is an x there, but it's x to the 0. So this one is technically degree 0. So I would list my minus 4. That negative sign is attached to the 4. So I'd list my minus 4 at the very end. So this is what standard form would look like. I start with my highest exponent and I go all the way down to my lowest exponent. Okay, now the leading coefficient, when you're in standard form, guess what? It's the coefficient that's leading, or the coefficient in the very front, which in this case would be the 3. See, 3 is at the very start. So my leading coefficient is 3. Okay, after this we're doing exactly what we did before. So this should pretty much be a recap for you. So the degree, this is your highest exponent, which when you're in standard form, it's the very first exponent you see, which is x to the 4th. So it's technically a degree 4 polynomial. That's my highest exponent. And the special name for degree 4, what is the special name for degree 4? Holy hot dog, it is quartic. So it would be a quartic, and then the number of terms, well, it has 1, 2, 3, 4 terms, And we don't have a special name for 4 terms, so we just call this a quartic polynomial of 4 terms. Okay, let's get going on example 6 now. This is example 6. Okay, so standard form, which term has the highest exponent? It would be this one right here, which I don't see an exponent, so secretly there is a 1 here. Oh, well, secretly there is a 1 here, so it's x to the first. So my first term, this negative sign does go with the 5x, so it'd be negative 5x. And then my term with the next highest exponent is the 4 because it doesn't have an exponent. So secretly the exponent is x to the 0. So I'd list it as negative 5x plus 4. Okay, and then the leading coefficient is the number at the very front of standard form, or the number in front of the term with the highest degree. So my leading coefficient is negative 5. Whoa, right? Okay, let's list the degree and number of terms. So my highest exponent, again, I don't see an exponent, so there secretly is a 1 there. So my highest exponent is degree 1. Okay, and the special name for degree 1 is linear. So it's linear, and I have a total of 2 terms. So the special name for a polynomial with 2 terms is a binomial. So this is a linear binomial. Okay, and finally, we have example 7. So let's get going. So standard form, which term has the highest exponent? It would be negative 5x to the third. So this term I'd list first. Then my next term with the next highest exponent is 4x squared. So I list that one next. My term with the next highest exponent is a 2x. And then my final term that doesn't have any variables in it, which means as the smallest exponent would be negative 3. Technically, it's x to the 0. Okay, so I would list this as negative 5x to the third plus 4x squared plus 2x minus 3. And then the leading coefficient, now that I'm in standard form, it's the number at the very front, which in this case is negative 5. Okay, also you can think about it as what is the coefficient of the term with the highest exponent? Well, negative 5x to the third has the highest exponent, so the number in front of x to the third is negative 5. So my leading coefficient is negative 5. Okay, my degree, my highest exponent is 3, so it's degree 3. And the special name for degree 3 is cubic. And this polynomial has a total of 1, 2, 3, 4 terms. Remember, if it has 4 terms, like up here in example 5, sorry, JK. But anyway, so in this one, since it has 4 terms, there isn't a special name for when you have 4 terms. Okay, so this one is called a polynomial of 4 terms. So it is a cubic polynomial of 4 terms. Alright, that was a blast, you guys. Now we're going to learn how to add and subtract some polynomials, so get excited.